Welcome back to American Aces NRL show with a very special Origin edition. Origin 3, a decider, thank God. And we have two Origin icons, Brent Tate and I call him Air Woodsy, Aaron Woods. Fellas, how are we?
Very good, mate. Very good. Origin week. How good, decider?
We pumped or?
Can't sleep.
Well,
Can't sleep.
Mate,
Bring it on.
I'm actually pumped. And just is Guards maybe feeling the pressure a little bit? Is she sick or is it the nerves and pressure?
Yes, we are a man down today. A vital team member, Renee. She's got COVID. I thought it was over.
So-called COVID. I reckon she's just nervous. She doesn't want to get into any, conversations or arguments pre-Origin.
Yeah.
She wants to come out afterwards and go, yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that, Ash, or Tatey or Woodsy, just so she can't be on the end of anything.
Classic. Well, it is a decider, and thank God we're here. We can thank the ref for that. So we'll kick it off there. How are you feeling about Wednesday, Tatey?
Mate, I'm actually really pumped. Mate, I'm excited about it. Decider. I don't know. Every year when a decider comes around, there's just so much theatre has been around this one. The first couple we were, saying it was a little bit boring, but the last couple of weeks, the theatre of Origin has done it again. It's a decider. It's a sellout. New South Wales, mate. It's huge. I feel like this is going to be a really big game. Like there's a lot riding on the line for Loz. I feel like there's a lot riding on the line for Billy. So mate, there's plenty of storylines this week, and I'm pumped for it.
Tatey, you mentioned it's the decider. So last year going to Game 3, I was up at Queensland Suncorp. As a New South Welshman, mate, I was that nervous because going up there, Queensland are a different side. They grow another leg. Now the decider's in Sydney. How do you feel as a Queenslander coming down here to play the decider in Sydney?
Yeah, mate, it's a tough place to win in New South Wales, especially that stadium. One thing I will say, though, mate, when the stadium out there is full and there's an atmosphere, it is a really cool place to play. So I think the Queenslanders will feed off that, mate. You feed off the energy of the crowd, whether it's good or bad. So, but make no mistake, it is a tough place to go and win. So, mate, am I a little bit nervous about it? Of course. It doesn't make it a tougher task, absolutely. But, mate, we didn't play great at Suncorp. Maybe, we're flipping the script a little bit this year and we'll get the job done in New South Wales.
And some absolutely devastating news that sort of, wouldn't say rocked the Queensland camp, but their captain, their spiritual leader, Cameron Munster's father had passed away. I think it was Saturday night. We do know that he has left camp. He'll be back in just in time for the captain's run. I think it's on Tuesday, back in Sydney. It's just leading to an Origin. You got to feel for Cameron and, his headspace and where he's at, but it can also galvanise the team together, can't it, Tatey?
Yeah, it definitely can, mate. It's going to be a monumental effort for Cam to get up and play, mate, because, there's so much pressure and expectation around Origin matches. Like, the 10 days you're in camp and, over the 3 games, they're great fun, but there is so much expectation and pressure that you do feel. So, to throw this in, mate, it's going to be a monumental effort, but I do think it'll steal the group, mate. Again, I'm talking about storylines like this has unfortunately happened. Papa's back. I don't know, mate. I just get the feeling it's building nicely for us. I'm quietly excited. I'm quietly confident.
Yeah, thoughts go out to Cam and his family. It's never going to be good timing, really, is it? But hopefully it fires him up, and look, hopefully, and then I'm sort of sitting on both sides of the fence where I'm like, I don't want to see him win, but, I want to see him get around him for sure. A couple of stories out of the Queensland camp last week. There was some illness.
Oh, shocked me.
I know, big shock. It only took to Game 3 for us to have any illness. What are your thoughts on, I know Grant's been cleared to play. Do you think it'll impact him at all, or?
Nah, mate, I don't think so. It's early in the week. Everyone's carrying something at this time of year. I remember when I played, if JT wasn't sick as a dog crawling off the deathbed, it wasn't an Origin match. So not worried about it at all because he'd come out and get man of the match most times. So, mate, I don't think it'll affect their preparations. I think, outside of the Munster stuff, which, again, is bloody horrible, but It's been pretty smooth sailing, I think. So, yeah, mate, fingers crossed we can get out there, and guys like Harry Grant and Nick Gunn absolutely need to be at their best, mate.
Sure. And speaking of Harry Grant, there's a bit of rumours that he's got a bit of a sternum injury going into this game. Do you see him playing the 80, Tatey, or do they probably bring Kurt Mann, maybe play that little bit of a hooker role, help him out there?
Mate, you know what? He didn't play great in game one, but far out, the class of the bloke in game two, he was sensational, mate. Played, big minutes and was at his absolute best. So, again, you never write off quality. He got it wrong in game one, but he certainly made it for game two. And, mate, I think he'll play huge minutes. Look, he might come off for a bit of a spell when Kurt Mann comes on, but, mate, I'd expect him to be playing big minutes again. And, he plays in the middle. He touches the ball more than anyone. He's probably as influential in that Queensland team as anyone. And so, mate, he's going to be an important piece to the puzzle for us.
Yeah, and Kurt Mann, he made his debut game two, was it?
Yep.
And he
outstanding.
Where do you think they'll play him this week? I mean, maybe at hooker.
Mate, I just reckon they'll put him on, whether he plays at hooker or he just comes on in the middle. I think he'll just play a similar role to what he did in that first game. What he does bring, mate, is he brings energy. He brings line speed when he comes off the bench. And his involvement with the ball, mate, he brings leg speed through the middle. And he's a tough little bugger. So I'm excited that he's in the team. I think he really brings something off that bench for us that we haven't had before. And it's a different dynamic. So I think the balance of this team with Papa being back, I really feel like it's levelled up in the forwards for Queensland. I think New South Wales have always had the edge in the first two games, but now Big Papa's back, I really feel like we could match his up front.
You're right there, Tatey. Papa coming in this squad, I think it just levels out the forward pack there. Obviously, Mo Whatuaka, he had a good game in game two, but you've got to go with the experience, one of the great leaders of the game. How did Queensland use Papali'i? Are you going to start him? Does he come off the bench? Does he play the first 15, 20? What are we going to expect from Queensland with Papali'i?
Mate, I reckon you got to start him. I reckon, there's a lot riding on this game, and we know there's no turning back. Like, we're playing for keeps. So, mate, I think you've just got to put the big boy out there and let him go. And we don't need big minutes from him. We just need him to do a job in that sort of 10 to 15 minutes. And, if he got 20 out, well, that'd be perfect. So, mate, I just think his presence, what he does bring, mate, is when you're in the dressing room before the game and you're strapping your boots up and you're putting your jersey on and you're doing your warm-up, and you look across and you see someone like him, mate, it brings it's like a safety blanket. It brings some inspiration, and you want to aim up, especially if you're in the forwards like a big Tino with Papa. So I'm actually expecting Tino to have a big game. I thought he was well below his best in that second game. So, mate, I think he's up for a big one, big Tino.
Yeah. We spoke about some huge calls, mate. Obviously, the Papali'i was massive. They bring him out of retirement from the rep level to bring him back in, Tatey. But the Shibasaki, this could be without a doubt one of the biggest calls in the history of Origin. You got Shibasaki and Rob Toyer, two young centres coming up against Stephen Crichton and Latrell Mitchell. What would be your last sort of probably take to tell the boys to going into the game? What's your last bit of advice for them?
Mate, if I'm talking to Gamet before the game, I'm telling him to make sure his first touch is his best touch. And mate, you're playing Origin, you've got to be aggressive, like in everything you do. Aggressive with the ball, aggressive defensively. And you just got to have that mindset where you've got to pay a price physically and mentally. Like, you're going to go into places it's going to be dark. You've probably never gone to places that as hard as what you're going to go in Origin physically. So, mate, my message to them is be ready, play with aggression. And it's a huge job, mate. Look, those two boys that you talked about, Critter and Latrell, mate, they're two of the best going around. So, it's a big job for them. But, mate, I reckon Gamet will handle it. I really do.
Yeah, he's a classy young player. You just mentioned you got to go to places you got to go to dark places. When you played, Tatey, who was the one that inspired you as a player when you looked and you said, wow, I can't believe this bloke just keeps getting up, he keeps going, but he's what represents Queensland as a player?
Mate, when I first came into first grade and played Origin, that bloke was Shane Webke. One
of the greats.
I couldn't believe how hard he trained and how hard he played. His first carry was like his last carry in the 80th minute. He only knew one way, Webby, and it was full on. But, mate, as I got older, mate, I really looked up to guys like Darren Lockyer, Thurston, Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater. These guys that had heaps of pressure around them all the time, probably more expectation than anyone because, they had to have big games for Queensland to win usually. So, I just admired those guys, mate, that they were able to get the job done time in and time out under all that pressure and expectation. So, yeah, they're the guys that I bloody loved playing with.
The New South Wales team, who do you think Queensland need to target on Wednesday night?
Mate, I reckon they got a target clear in his kicking game. Yeah. I think having Hammer at the back, it's a big job for him. Like, I think he's got to get to the ball on the full a lot throughout the night. And Nathan Cleary has got one of the best kicking games in the comp. So, mate, I think they've got to go after his kicking game. And we've obviously got to match him up front, mate. I thought the boys did a really good job on Payne Haas in the first half.
Yeah.
In that second game, I thought he was pretty ineffective because I thought, the guys were getting out at marker, chopping him down. So, they're two guys I reckon they really need to go after in this game. So if they do that, we'll be half a chance.
Tatey, from a Queensland perspective, do you guys look into, because there's a lot of talk that, To'o, Payne Haas, they're all in that injury cloud, Hudson Young. Does that play a little bit on your mind leading into it, or you just worry about the 17 you got that's going to wear it for the Maroon and the state proud?
Yeah, mate, I think they'll game plan it. I'd expect them to be kicking a To'o pretty early on to test out that hammy. Like, if he's got a problem and he's, that there is, I guess, some conjecture around his fitness, mate, I reckon they'll be kicking to him early and making him work hard because they're going to want to test it out. And I think, too, kicking to him so he doesn't bring it back on play 1 or 2 is, it's a lot more effective for Queensland. So he's probably a little bit easier to handle when you've got a straight line when you kick down. So, mate, it'll be interesting to see what they do, but I reckon they'll test him for sure.
Tatey, give us a hot take for Wednesday. What do you think's going to happen?
Oh, mate, I think this is going to be a classic. I really do. Maybe I'm just getting mixed up in the hype, but as I said, I think, the stuff that's happened with Munster's dad, bringing Papa back, a lot riding on the line with Billy. Like, he's been under huge pressure this series. Laurie's come back in the New South Wales side. There's going to be a lot of headlines around Laurie if he can't get the job done. Mate, there's so much expectation and pressure around this one. I think we're in for a classic. I really do. I don't know about you boys, but it just, for me, it's built nicely to have a classic Origin match in front of a huge crowd.
It's got Queensland winning all over it. I don't want to say, I hate saying that, but it's just all these storylines. Tatey's absolutely right.
I think it puts more pressure on Queensland because we're sort of pumping it up that they're going to do a typical Queensland tour, so now they've got to live up to it.
Yeah, for sure. But all the storylines, they're killing me. It feels like every 2 days, it's like it's been nothing but good. All these really good storylines. I got shit on my shoe. I
wish some idiot would come out and just say something again and just get them fired up or something.
Wish some peanut from the gallery would just chip in, right?
Sticky tape on my
fire us up.
I've been waiting for you to say something, but you're on radio holidays now, so no one's heard from you. Tatey, just moving on a little bit to the weekend's games we just had. Brisbane come out of nowhere, second half. What do you make of that?
Yeah, mate. They've really turned a corner, haven't they? They're starting to play some, resilient, tough footy, the Bronx. Mate, I didn't see a hell of a lot of the game, but I did watch the KO mini and the highlights, and it looked like Billy Walters, when he comes on, has made a huge difference the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's in really good form, which is going to be interesting because Ben Hunt's going to be coming back into the side, I think, next week. So it'll be interesting to see what Madge does there. But I think his form probably rewards him a spot in that side. Mate, but they're playing tough, Brisbane. If they can get it right at the back end of the year and time their run, mate, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Well, they're definitely a side you don't want to come up against with the strike weapons. Going to your mob, the Cowboys. They've signed Reed Money on a 3-year deal. Obviously, Reece Robson moving on. I think that's an outstanding signing for the Cowboys, Tatey.
Yeah, I think so too, mate. I've thought a lot about his signing over the weekend, and what he does bring, mate, is he's a competitor.
Yes.
Defensively, he's really good. Mate, I think his service out of dummy half is as good as anyone in the comp. Like, he's got an unbelievable passing game, and we've got players that just need the ball in their hands, so I think that helps us. The other thing I think he brings, mate, is a level of professionalism and that real competitive edge. Like, he wants to win, mate.
Yeah.
And I think we've probably lacked a little bit of that in the Cowboys this season. So, yeah, it's a big signing for the club and a good signing, I think.
Before we let you go, Tatey, just finally, we had Ricky Stewart come out and just give his take on the Flanagan, we'll call it the online trolling. What do you make of what Ricky said?
It's funny, mate. I listened to Gordy Tallis on Triple M also over the weekend and commented on this. I actually don't, and I agree with Gordy with what he said. He said the journos aren't the one that are probably putting the pressure on and bagging Kyle Flanagan. It's more the social media stuff. And, mate, with social media, you're never, ever going to win. It's pointless. No. So, for me, it's an easy fix. Just turn it off and don't listen to it. But, I may be different to the generation these days. But, mate, you play first grade. There's always going to be a bit of pressure and expectation. He's a good kid. I think he's been playing well anyway. So, it's an interesting take. I love Ricky Stewart. I love the way he sticks up for his players, mate. That's why everyone wants to play for him, and that's why Canberra are playing so good. So, mate, it's typical Rick, but yeah, it's an interesting one. But I hope the kid just keeps playing well and keeps putting his best foot forward.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I know what you mean. You're never gonna with social media. There's always going to be someone unhappy, right? Yeah. And then a lot of couch quarterbacks are quite happy to put their 2 cents in. And you're right. I mean, a lot of people do it really well where they can just sort of block it out. Woodsy for being one of them.
But just don't listen to it, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. And like, I could see how like it could really get under your skin if it's just now that mainstream media is talking about what's happening on social media. It doesn't make it any better. So I don't think he's playing bad at all. I don't think he's the problem. They're losing games. I think they're just
looking for someone.
They're just looking, and everyone looks for someone. But anyway, Tatey, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck on Wednesday, and also commiserations as well.
Don't go off too early.
Ash, you don't mean that. Don't say good luck.
I know. I feel like I got to throw it in there.
He's very nervous, Tatey. I've never seen Ash like this.
Mate, he's a bit jittery this morning, isn't he?
He's very nervous.
I'm a nervous wreck. I've got to go. I'm going to be there on Wednesday, so that should be fun.
Ooh.
So I'll let you guys know what it's. Oh, you're going to be in the box,
there,
mate,
yes.
next to Billy.
I'll be next to my great mate Billy Slater.
Mate, I cannot wait. This is a cracker. I can't wait, mate, and I cannot wait to get here next week with a Queensland victory because I'm going to be gloating hard.
I really hope not.
Can we just get rid of you now?
Just get rid of you now. All right, Tatey, mate, enjoy.
Thanks, Tatey.
See you, buddy.
Go the Maroons.
See you, brother.
See you, mate. Bye. Let's move on to New South Wales. What do you?
Let's talk about the real stuff. I'm confident.
You are very confident this morning.
Like, for me, game 2, Queensland were up emotionally. It was obviously a lot of talk throughout the week, and you heard him after the game. We did it for our coach, Billy Slater. This 6-week period is huge, and the thing for Billy Slater is game 3 of the camp. You don't need to worry about teaching them footy. They've been with each other for a long period of time. There's been hardly any changes. It's about getting them back to that level emotionally and being able to play again. Like, you seen that look in Cameron Munster's eyes when he walked out game 2. I was like, oh, wow.
Every time I close my eyes, I still see it.
Because you normally see that jovial, like, just, Cameron Munster just goes with it, goes with the flow. But you seen that look in his eyes when he come out. He had the C next to his name. That was a different Cameron Munster
It's scary.
And I noticed it straight away, and I was like, oh my God, wow.
It's scary, man.
We're in for a big game. But, it's some devastating news over the weekend for Cam, and, condolences from everyone here for the Munsters family and Cameron. Absolutely shattering to hear. But that's going to be a big emotional roller coaster that he's going to be riding leading into the game.
We know he's out there doing it for, right? And it's scary.
And we know he is, the bigger the game, the better he plays. But this last month of footy's been huge for him, for their group as well. Can they sustain that emotional level that they've been at? And for how good they were in game 2, we missed a couple of goals. If we kick some goals, we win that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So that's something that a lot of people haven't spoke about. Yeah, the penalty count was 8-0, but our discipline was horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see a New South Wales side like that again. But going into this game, there's been a lot of talk from our centres haven't been getting enough ball. Our forwards got dished early on, and so I'm really expecting a different style of play, and I'm expecting a different style of refereeing. I think there's going to be a lot of free flowing. A bit like game 3 last year was one of the best games I've ever watched. Yeah. Physically, both sides just bashed each other. But yeah, I like what New South Wales are doing, and I've liked what I've seen from two players in particular for New South Wales. I like what I've seen from Cleary against the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And the one that not many people have been talking about is the form of Dylan Edwards. I think he is just getting better and better. We know he had a little bit of an injury early on in this season, but that game he played against the Bulldogs, that was back to Dylan Edwards of the
Lots
best
of
what we've
moves,
seen.
lots of carries.
And breaking the first tackle, breaking the second tackle, poking his nose through. So I'm quite excited. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, Ash, I cannot wait. Like, this is a game that I haven't been able to, like, when you, like, Tigers play Manly on a Friday night or, Roosters play, someone. But this game I am genuinely pumped about and I can't wait. Deciders are the best.
I know, I'm excited. I love midweek footy regardless. But I'm excited. I'm like, oh man, I'm pumped. I get to go. I'm all nervous. All the emotions are bubbling up because it's got classic written all over it. If everything goes to plan for both teams, I think it'll be a real battle. And I mean, you're going to hate me for this, but my hot take is I think Cam Must will be player of the series.
Really?
I reckon, the look in his eye, he was doing, he was the captain. Now he's got the look in his eye. Unfortunately, he's lost his dad. He's got another reason to go out and win that game, and that scares the shit out of me.
You know what I love? One of my great mates, and he's an absolute gibber, Brent Reid from the Telegraph.
Yeah.
He's come out and said, this game will make or break Nathan Cleary. He's come out and said it's about a bloke that's won 4 competitions in a row.
What else can he do?
And I love when Nathan Cleary gets backed into a wall. Not many people have spoke about the New South Wales side this camp. And that's what I'm really enjoying. Game 2, we were expected to win.
Yeah.
Game 1, we weren't expected to win. We were supposed to go up to Suncorp and do our best. This is a different ball game. You come into Sydney now. It's going to be 50-50s. Do they go Queensland or New South Wales way? It's going to be a different ball game, and I just love that they're questioning Nathan Cleary because that is going to bring the best out in him.
Look at him, 2023 grand final, right? They're down by a decent margin with how long to go.
One of the best performances you'll ever see.
If that Nathan Cleary shows up on Wednesday, we win.
I love just how it's head to head. It's Nathan Cleary against Cameron Munster.
I love it. I don't think them saying, this will make or break Cleary. I don't see that because he's achieved so much such a short, realistically in a short career.
Exactly.
And he has so much longer to go.
Correct.
I think if it doesn't work out for him this Wednesday, I don't think it purely sits on him.
I think it's more pressure for the coaches.
Yeah.
Loz is back. He had 1 win from 5 series. They win game 1 and then they expect to win game 2. Then the question mark starts to come around Loz again, which I think is hilarious. Billy Slater, 1 series loss, could be going for 2. Has he handled himself well? They got the win game 2, but there's a lot of pressure on both coaches leading into this game. This is huge.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. There's a few injuries and illness scares around the place. I mean, we had Luai had to step out of that game last week, and spent some time in hospital too.
I think it was good. I watched the Roosters Tigers game yesterday, and Luai was out there watching the boys supporting. Had his hoodie on, but he looked pretty good. I think he'll be fine to be raring to go. We speak about Brent Tate's knee injury. That's been the big talking point. But, mate, I don't think he ran much in game 2 as well, leading into it. And he comes out and runs for 200+ meters, does it easy.
Yeah,
he'll drink his 6 Coke Zeros, his caramel lattes, his breakfast burgers, mate.
Straight out
The
there.
kid's a machine. So I'm not too worried. And then you got Payne Haas as well. Is it a quad? Is it a back? Is it a hamstring? Big Payno. I listened to Laurie Daly yesterday talk, and he was saying that Payne didn't train at all game 1. And just got through the game and did what he got to do. And some players can do that.
Yeah, they're in the middle of a season.
Exactly right. We spoke to Tate. Every player's carrying something.
Yeah.
So it's just how you manage those players. I think all 3 will play. And, I'm hoping all 3 will play. It'll be exciting.
And we've got Karaz there, 18th man, just in case. I think it's a good interchange if we need it.
Yeah, it's you wouldn't say exactly like for like, but Karaz does 20+ carries. He's got one thing Karaz has got in his game, very good offload.
Yeah, and he's got vertical leap.
He can jump, but he's also got the combination with Critter, Stephen Crichton, the centre. So you take him out. The only thing that could happen then, do we swap Lomax to the other wing and put Carraz with Critter, or do you just leave him with Latrell? So, I dare say we'll find out more leading in closer to the game, the day of the game, what happened. But from everything you're hearing and reports inside the camp, I think Toto will be right.
And I gave the question to Tate as well. Who do you think New South Wales need to target?
Oh, it's a good call. Well, if Harry Grant's got a sternum injury, I'm going at him, and I'm trying to make him make as many tackles as he possibly can. Tatey said, with game 2, game 1, Harry Grant was very quiet, and he was only just coming off the hamstring injury.
Yeah, I remember.
He played half a game before leading into the Origin, but game 2 was outstanding. He controlled the ruck. He dictated terms. He was bringing blokes onto the ball. The combination of him and Munster set up the try. He's just an absolute class player. He's the best hooker in the competition.
It was a true hooker's game.
It was. He just dominated. The ruck was a wet game, and he was just look fake one side, come the other. Kicking game was on point.
Just giving him go forward.
For me, you got to target him. We did it game 1. What Queensland did well is they worked hard for marker and got Payne Haas's legs. So as he was trying to come out and go for him, I think this game, if we can get Payno maybe a tip on off Cleary and just go straight at Harry Grant, make his night like hell. Just keep going and get the bumpers up, attack that sternum. We need to take him out of the game because once they get a quick play of the ball, Jesus, Harry Grant's very hard to stop.
He's hard to stop. Once they get a
momentum. And then the thing is, if you do get Harry Grant under fatigue, he starts to make a couple of errors, like he did in game 1, like the kick for Coates, which was never on. He starts trying to overplay his hand a little bit because he's trying to find his way into the game. So if we can dominate that ruck, it takes Harry out of the game. So it's a big task for New South Wales, but it's something that I'm sure that they probably spoke about as a group.
And you mentioned overplayed his hand. Luai got called into the squad last game. There's a lot of pressure on him because Nathan was obviously not 100%. Do we see a different Luai? Do we see maybe a little bit more calm and collected?
Well,
Luai?
I think what you got to remember is Nathan did his groin. I think it was the captain's run, they said.
Yeah.
So in the first half, he dominated a lot of the kicking, and his first kick was out in the full. And he'd love to have his time back again, but he was probably too overexcited, ready for that one. Whereas we saw Nathan a couple of weeks ago, he played against the Bulldogs. He did pretty much 90% of the kicking for that game. So I dare say the combination of those two blokes will be all right. And you got to sort of remember, this could be, you don't know, it could be their last time playing together again, Nathan and Jerome. You're not sure with the combination because Mitchell Moses was there at the start. They don't play club footy anymore, so it's sort of like their last hurrah, those two guys. So not many people have spoken about that. A lot of the boys back together. You got Critter, you got Spencer Lenny. They're all at different squads now.
Yeah.
So you never know what the Origin side is going to be game 1 next year. So this could be their last moment all together playing. All the boys back in sync. Toto as well. So there's a lot to play for these lads, and that's why I'm genuinely excited for this game.
Before we go into the round that was and the round coming up, what's your prediction? What do you reckon?
I think it's going to be an absolute contest for the first 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm just hoping it's a free-flowing game and we see some collisions. Last year, game 3, oh, mate, I was on the edge of my seat. It was just like, wow, when's the pace of this game and the collision's going to stop? It went for 60 to 70 minutes. It was unbelievable. What's my prediction? I think New South Wales win, and I think they win well.
Wow.
Yeah, they haven't got a full game yet put together.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think out of the 2 matches, they've won 3 of the halves.
Very true.
One half they lost.
Yeah.
And it was
they can't play like that again.
It was real disappointing. And what they've got to look at themselves, their attitude in that game 2, first half. I really think they just went there with the mindset of we're just going to get it done.
Yeah.
And Queensland showed them you need to have your head in the right spot.
You can't just come and get it done. You got to come and work for it.
Yeah, there's no second chances now. And I just think Queensland were a lot more desperate. Not saying that we weren't desperate. We just sort of knew in the back of our minds we have that safety blanket of we've already got one game. We go to the decider. But this is huge. This is Laurie Daly. It's a decider. He hasn't won a decider. Nathan Cleary hasn't won a decider. And you know what? We're back at home, baby.
Yeah.
We are
Full
back
house.
at home, baby. Accor Stadium.
There's
going to be Blatchy Blues everywhere. Hopefully we get a fast track.
Yeah.
And
lots of points. I want to see lots of points, man.
And Queensland have made some big calls leading this game. Everyone's going. It's the narrative that Queensland want, but also puts a lot of pressure on those blokes.
Who's your player of the series then?
It's a tough one. Player of the series for this one. I do think New South Wales win.
Okay.
So I don't see it will be a Queensland as a player of the series. Look, I think Stephen Crichton's been well. Brian Toto, as a winger, mate, he's run for 200 plus games. In game one, he had 10 to be and still got over 200.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
I'm not too sure, but I'll give you my man of the match.
Go on then.
Nathan Cleary.
Wow.
Yep.
You've heard it here first, eh?
I just believe this is his moment, and I love when people question him.
Yeah.
I really love it because he's just he would have blocked out all the noise, and I reckon he would have been frustrated that he wasn't fully fit for that game too. Seeing what he did against the Bulldogs, and I think what we're going to see is a really good defensive effort from Nathan. Like we saw at Magic Round this year against the Broncos, he's just going to come up and he's going to be very, very strong. You got to go after the game with your defense, and then the attack will come off the back of it.
Beautiful. I can't wait. I'm pumped. I've got goosebumps.
Oh, man, I just wish it was Wednesday now.
I know. Not far off, mate. Not far
out.
off. All right. Well, let's touch on the round that was. It was a short round again, just because of Origin. Some good games. What stuck out for you?
It was a good week of footy, wasn't it? Like there was a lot of games that happened. I really enjoyed the Tigers yesterday. You know,
I was shocked.
So many people were shocked. The media, the week that was like the Dewey and the Benji, the scuffle or whatever it was at training.
Talon De Silva
leaving. Mate, look at the amount of players they had. Jerome Buller, Jerome Luai. You know, they had just so many players out. Heath Mason. Mate, it was just like a squad just put together.
They did well.
They did really well. And to get that 20-0 lead, I was like, wow, how good is this?
They nearly gave it away.
But then they got come back a little bit close. But that was a win that they needed. Look, they were 5 straight losses. Takes a lot of pressure off them. And just to do it without a lot of the players in that squad. So, that was probably, it wasn't the game of the round, but I was just happy for that result for the blokes there.
I'll run through the results of the weekend. We had Bulldogs and the Broncos come back from the Broncos, which was outstanding. We spoke about with Tate.
Good, man.
The Raiders over the Dragons, 28-24, and I thought the Dragons were unlucky to win that one.
Yeah, they were very unlucky. I thought they'd come home really hard.
Yep.
But the Raiders, they just do what they've been doing all year. They just play for the 80 minutes and hang on.
And they're coming out of it. They're coming out of their games pretty scot-free of injuries and stuff. They're just, whatever they're doing down there at the moment, they're doing
Hudson
well.
Young, no Papa Lee. I tell you what, mate, watching that game, did you see how cold it looked?
Oh yeah, it's freezing.
Like, you know when they're breathing, you just see all the, what is it, coming out of the mouth, like the smoke or steam, whatever you call it.
Canberra's pretty much just the belly button,
Yuck.
the belly button of New South Wales. And then we've got the Cowboys and the Storm. Cowboys 20, Storm 26. I think the Storm just did Storm things.
Just did what they had to do.
They missed what Puppy was out.
Yeah, he ruled out late too, yeah.
Tight calf.
No need to risk him. He was up there with the boys, but I honestly thought the Cowboys were a chance in that one. It was close, but the Storm, they're just too good, aren't they?
I know. They just know how to win games. We went over the Tigers game. Manly, 30-12. I thought I was nervous.
Yes. It's one of those games, isn't it?
Early on, I was very nervous. I thought it was really hard for Manly to get a penalty. We had to get injured for a penalty, right? Like there was a crusher tackle on, I think it was Ruben Garrick.
Garrick, yeah.
And it took that for just one penalty when they were laying all over us.
Even early on in the game, if they do the captain's call and Garrick dropped that first one, they're going to get a penalty there straight away. But they were just, because it's only the first minute of the game, you're just a bit nervous. Do we play it? Do we not? But, geez, that's a big win for Manly. Gets a lot of people off their back.
Yeah, Tommy, 2 tries.
Slowly just injecting himself a lot more.
And that's where he needs to be. It's
beautiful.
Like you see him come across to the other side of the field.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think they dropped one in under to Benjabojevic instead of going at the back, which he dropped the ball, which I thought they should have gone out, but I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to fake him into it.
Just work him over, yeah.
Yeah, work him over. And
I still believe his best position's fullback.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather see him out there playing happy.
Oh, yeah. He looks a lot more happier now. But, yeah, I just think if Manly want to make a good crack at the back end of the year, I think they need him at fullback.
And I think I would love to see him with Fulalalo on the outside of him or something like that.
Yeah,
We've seen Sabi didn't have the worst game.
I'll tell you who's been good, man. Tolu Kola.
Oh, outstanding.
He's one of my favourites there. He's a good kid, just works hard, but he's one of those kids you touch, he just picks up that loose ball and bang, bang, bang. He's just so quick and lightning.
He wanted that try, man. And the only thing that stopped him, one of them, was the goalpost. He was like the footwork, the power, everything.
And they got a couple big ins coming in, sort of, obviously Olakwatu will be back soon.
Soon, yeah.
And then hopefully Paseka can just get back just before the semis.
before
He'll be a
semis.
big in if they can get him back.
We sneak into the 8 with that little win.
If you can sneak in with the 8, they're a side that you don't want to verse.
And going into the bye too.
Yep.
Like bit of rest there.
As they say, 4-point win.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. And then we go, but we got a tough run home. So
Yes.
anyway,
okay.
good round of footy, I thought. Now this week coming up, let's go into Would You Back It?
We're going to do the Origin, aren't we?
Oh, we're going to do the Origin, yeah. Oh, shit.
Our multis for the Would You Back It?
Yes. Let's go. Yeah, usually we do the Would You Back It round multis, but we'll do...
Let's do the Origin.
We'll do Origin.
So for me, I'm going to go New South Wales head to head.
Of course.
I'm going to go our man, Zachy Lomax, anytime try scorer.
Yep.
Brian To'o, hopefully he plays, anytime try scorer. And the big dog, the bigger the game, the better he plays. Latrell Mitchell, anytime try scorer.
Latrell Mitch.
Going for 3 anytime try scorers.
That's big from you.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be a fast track. It's going to be a dry track. And there's been a lot of talk that our centres need to see a lot more ball.
I think they'll get it early too.
And I reckon we need to find a way of getting Latrell into the game. Not using him as batting ram, but using him as a threat.
Yeah, if he can get on the outside of his man out there.
Yep.
They'll be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too similar. Head to head, New South Wales, of course.
Yep.
Brian Tottle, 2+ tries.
Ooh, 2+.
2+. And then I'm going to go and throw a bit of a smoky in off the bench. Hudson Young, anytime.
He's been outstanding,
This
mate.
year he scored a lot of tries. If he gets the ball in the right place,
Yep.
he'll force his way over. So thanks to StatMate, that helped us go through, get the best stats so we could pick the best.
I tell you what, they
multi.
helped me out with my To'o and Lomax. If it wasn't for them, they persuaded me just a little bit. So thank you so much, Stats, mate.
Yes, and of course, gamble responsibly. Now let's go through the games coming up this week. Really quickly, we'll just jump through them. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yep.
Again, it's going to be probably Origin player affected.
Yeah, it will be. So it's hard to sort of back. And you want to know who's backing up, but who cares? Let's just bash
Let's
each
just
other
go
at
for it.
Origin.
All right, I'll run you through them. Let's go Sharks and Dolphins on the Friday.
Sharks need this big time, so I'm going to go to the Sharks.
I'm going to go the Dolphins.
Oh,
Saturday, 3 games. Yes,
We're back.
Not to mention there'll be NRLW on as well. It's just never ending with the football this weekend coming. Night Storm.
Storm, easy.
Yeah, I'm going to the Storm. Dragons, Roosters.
I'm going to go Dragons. Yes.
I think the Roosters will bounce back.
They have to bounce. They will pull.
It'll be down the
Jeez,
coast, won't it?
Jeez, the Roosters.
The game will be down the coast, won't it?
It's
It's a Dragons home game, I think. So
yeah,
it
might be at Oakey.
Jubilee or
It's at Oakey.
okay, cool. All right, I'm going to go the Roosters anyway. I think they'll bounce back off that.
Yep.
They'll have some of their Origin players, like Connor Watson will play.
Yep.
They'll have a few
Angus
guys come
Crichton.
back. Yeah,
Lindsay
they'll come
Collins. They'll all be back.
back. Cowboys, Bulldogs.
I'm going to go Bulldogs because they've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Bulldogs as well.
Yeah.
I don't see them losing 3 in a row this year. Warriors, West Tigers. This is Sunday's first game.
I'm going to go the West Tigers. Mate, outstanding.
Over there.
Well, mate, Metcalf's out. Mitch Barnett. Charles Nickel Cookstad.
Kate Roll probably won't play.
Kate-
Oh, no, he might go.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but they've just... You know what? Go on, Tigers.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go the Tigers as well.
Yep.
Eels, Panthers.
Oh, I just think Panthers, they're on a good
too
run.
strong,
They need to
yeah.
keep winning.
And Titans, Bronco to round out Sunday. 3 games on a Sunday.
I am going to go the Gold Coast Tigers.
Are you drunk?
Going for some
What makes you say that?
some value.
Value.
But
You
I reckon with the Tigers getting the win, the Titans down the below, they need another win to get off the spoon. And the Titans are a side, they can win by 40 or they can lose by 40.
We say that every week and they continue to lose by 40.
Mate, they had a bye. They're coming off a bye.
I'm going to say the Broncos are run with it.
Yeah, I'm not confident
They
at all.
don't have, they don't have to travel far either. So I think they'll just...
Depends what happens with Origin.
Yeah, but I'm going. And then
I have no faith in Titans.
and then the bye, I'm going to go with the Raiders and Manly and South to
Oh,
win that
beautiful.
one. Manly
Okay.
will just scrape him with that one.
Yes. Just happy Manly have got 6 points in a row. You beauty.
Yes, U-B-U-T. How good is it? And Woodsy, last week we offered something to our listeners and our viewers.
We did.
It was 2 tickets to a sold-out Origin, and we do have a winner. I'm going to give you who the winner is.
And you know what? These tickets are massive because it is sold out, like you said. So you can't get tickets anywhere.
No, they sold out in record time or something, wasn't it?
Record
and
time.
It wasn't cheap.
Record time.
Blame the referees for that. And we do have a winner. So the mechanism for the entering was give us your best Origin moment, tag your friends, follow along, follow the AA account. And we have a winner, and the name's going to sound familiar.
Really?
Because his name's Chris D. Hemsworth.
Oh, Hemsworth.
Not the real Hemsworth.
Is Thor tuning into us?
I wish it was the real Hemsworth. But it is Chris D. Hemsworth, and he said, got to be Teddy scoring the try on the death in 2019. Game 3 in front of a sea of Blue fans, including Chris D. Hemsworth. Piercy finally getting a fairy tale ending to his Origin career. Best moment ever by far. Finally doing a Queensland on them. Poetry.
Hi, mate. You know what?
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that.
You know what? Chris _D _Hemsworth, you are spot on, brother.
Spot
and that is
on.
why
You've won 2 tickets.
you're beauty.
You've won 2 tickets this Wednesday, State of Origin, and hopefully we have a similar fairy tale finish for us. I remember that game, and who was a defender slipped over? Was it Val Holmes slipped over, and Teddy went in there
in the corner,
and it had was it?
You know, I think
Piercy,
it was
Tommy.
Moses Mbai that slipped over.
You're right. Right.
Yes.
And I think it was, it was Mitchell Pearce onto Tom Drabojevic onto.
Was that when it? No, was it made? They put away Blake Ferguson down the wing.
We can't recall.
There was someone down the wing, and then they got Teddy back on the inside. What a moment!
Great. Yeah,
what a moment!
Yeah. Anyway, that is us for another week. Hoping for a New South Wales win. We can sit here next week and gloat over Tatey. He's not here to defend himself right now.
Come on.
But
come on, the gods of rugby league. New South Wales.
Woodsy, as always, been a pleasure. And Renee, hope you are better for next week because I can't do this every week. From us here, have a good Origin and have a good...
You killed it.
Thank you,
brother.
mate.
You're outstanding.
See you guys.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.